It.
It's live from the famous podcast studios at 438 Massachusetts Avenue, Cambridge, Massachusetts, courtesy of Chen Paw Productions. It's the Larry and Ray Bother People podcast featuring Larry and Ray. On tonight's episode, Larry and Ray will be bothering Ben Castagnola. And now, for the moment nobody has been waiting for, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Larry and Ray podcast.
Thank you.
All right, beautiful,
Hey, what
beautiful.
a studio audience. Pretty lively,
Wow.
huh?
Yeah, this I believe
Pretty
is,
hot under these lights, isn't
it always is. It always is.
But when that red light goes on, you're ready.
All right.
All right,
Get
so what do we get going on? How you doing, buddy? It's been a while, right?
It has been a
A
while.
little too long, you might
It's
say.
been a few months since we had our last episode.
Yeah.
This is, I think, episode 5.
I believe it's episode 5.
Yeah, that's right. I keep track of those things.
Somebody has
Yep.
to. All right.
But a lot has happened, though, right, in those
Yeah.
these past few months.
Lay it on me. What do you got?
So, well, we have a lot of different topics to talk about before we get started with our main attraction.
Yeah, our production team actually helped us gather some.
Yep.
They've been obviously, we pay them for this, so they've been
course.
gathering info.
You know.
They've been following us around.
Yep.
Very covertly.
A lot of Instagramming and lots
A lot
of
of
social
ins and
media.
outs and whatnot.
Actually, I don't think we have that, do we?
No. Well,
we
we'll
probably
work our
should.
way up to it.
Yeah.
We,
So let's
we got a
jump
lot
right
of
in.
stuff. You want to, we got a lot of topics here. We can only go over a few because we want to get to our guests.
You want me to
our
hit my
fabulous guests.
trip that's coming up? You want to talk about
Let's
drones?
what
do you wanna do?
Let's do your trip.
All right.
Is it trip where? To New York? You're going
Yes, I'm
on?
going
All right.
to visit the in-laws on
in-laws.
Christmas Day.
Oh, God.
They live in New York, and you know my in-laws, right?
Yes, I do.
We
very,
have-
very nice people.
We
but,
have, basically 3 individuals that are a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And there's always a lot of arguing and yelling and bickering and screaming. And every time I go, it's very upsetting, to the central nervous system.
Not to mention the neighbors.
Exactly. So I figured this time I need to have a different strategy.
Yeah. Well, what do you got? Because we
Well,
haven't discussed this at all. So I
instead
didn't even
of-
know you were going.
Yeah, well, now you know.
Wow.
So
How long are you going to be there, may I ask?
About 4 nights.
Oof.
4 long nights.
That's equivalent to
Yeah.
like 6 months, in in-law time, isn't it?
It probably is. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I only go once every 2 years. So, yeah. So,
not
so anyways, instead of getting upset about it, I said, you know what? I'm going to handle it differently. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in with curiosity. I said, I'm going to be an anthropologist. I'm going to go in and study these people that are kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
they really are crazy. And I'm going to try to figure out a way to maybe ask some questions, maybe find out what it is that makes these people tick, and maybe I can kind of look at it maybe from a bit of a distance, and maybe I can even find some humor in it. Perhaps
sure you
we
can.
could even get a pilot out of this.
That would be nice.
Remember we
yeah.
started the Croatian kitchen at one point?
That was great based on
That's
the family.
right. It was kind of like that cheeseburger routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to go in. So it'll sort of be like going to the zoo and studying the animals.
Yeah, but is it like cramped quarters there? Like how
It's
big
very
is the
cramped.
place? And there's 3 people. Any pets?
Well, I'm bringing my dog.
Oh, you're bringing the dog.
I'm bringing
God.
Sushi.
Oh, are you preparing sushi for this?
Sushi is
she the
just going to, I
therapist?
think she can probably handle it a lot better than I can.
Okay.
Dogs have a way of really matriculating.
In fact, you should
Yeah.
split the driving with sushi this time.
Well, I don't think that's wise.
Well, you never know.
Yeah,
Animals
so-
are people too.
But I liken it to going to the zoo,
Yeah.
except in this case there won't be any cages, so it'll be a little bit more dangerous, right?
They know you're coming, right?
They do
You
know we're
that.
coming, yes.
Wow.
And I probably won't feed them peanuts,
Okay.
but hopefully I'll survive. And if we can get a good story out of it for our next show, I think it'll be
I'm
worth the
sure
trip.
we will. And before we go to our next topic, what about
Yeah.
gifts? Should I give them a gift? Because I kind of know them.
I know how you like to give lavender-scented
Lavender wipes.
wipes.
That,
Yes, you're
your
really into wipes. Mm-hmm.
father-in-law loves the wipes. He's obsessed with the scented wipes.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes he never leaves the house. He just stays there and smells the wipes.
Well, it does tend to revive him.
Yeah, it's very
He
calming.
tends to doze off pretty easily.
So, look forward to hearing,
We
hearing
will have
about your
more to
travels.
come.
More to come. And I
Yeah.
love the idea of doing a sitcom or getting some ideas for a sitcom
Yeah.
based on that. What else we got? The drone thing I wanted to talk about. Everybody's obsessed with what's going on with the drones flying over New Jersey.
Right.
In fact, we've gotten, believe it or not, a lot of text and a few emails about they think it's up that we're behind it a little bit, that Larry and Ray bother people. It's a publicity stunt for
Oh,
us.
is that right? I
'Cause
hadn't
God
quite
knows we
heard
need
that rumor.
publicity. Oh, it's out there.
Yeah.
The
Well,
people
you
in
do have a
fanatical-
connection to the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, the people in
right?
New Jersey are fanatical about our show.
Yeah.
And, I don't have the heart to tell them that our budget really doesn't allow to do anything with drones. I mean, we could tie-in note to a carrier
Yeah.
pigeon or something,
Yeah.
but even that would be tough to afford.
All right, so
know.
you kind
A
of.
little nervous about it. What do you think they are? I mean, do you think there's anything to it? Is
I
it
think
mass hysteria?
it could be aliens, or it could just be,
Yeah.
you know, somebody that has a drone and they're operating without a license.
Well, a lot
Yeah.
of drones. There's like hundreds of
Yeah.
them. You know,
Yeah.
it could be. If it is aliens, I'm prepared because I don't know. Did I mention I started buying underwear from Duluth, the company?
No, and I'd rather not hear about it.
Well, I got to talk about it. I got to tell somebody. I got to get it out.
You bought it from
Well,
who?
Duluth Trading and Black
Okay.
Friday,
Uh-huh.
which is a whole other issue in
Duluth
underwear.
Trading.
There's a lot of jokes there. But started out on White Friday. But you know, at Duluth they had these deals, and they have
Yeah.
this underwear that has various patterns, and it's
Uh-huh.
great. It's made in
Ah,
America.
right.
You know, I don't know if the employees are, but you know, they're definitely made in America and really good quality stuff. But anyway, one of the pairs I got on sale for some reason were alien boxers.
Oh.
They actually glow in the dark,
Uh-huh.
and they have little, you know what an alien
Right.
looks like. You've
Take
seen
me
many
to your
aliens.
leader kind of thing.
Exactly, the big
Yeah.
bulbous head,
Marvin the Martian?
green
Yeah.
Marvin the Martian. But they glow in the dark, which is great because you know how I get up maybe once or twice during the night at my age too.
You've told me, yes.
You know, and my electric bill has been sky high lately.
Well, don't turn on the lights.
Well, that's why I have the underwear. It
Oh,
guides me.
okay, I got
It's
you,
so
gotcha.
bright. Sometimes it wakes me up in my
Right.
sleep, but
That's
it's
a
so
little-
bright.
Just don't sleep with your window shades up.
Well, that Elvis has left the building on that one, unfortunately. There's a lot of strongly worded letters I've been getting. But anyway, I wake up and bang, there's a clear path of light
All right.
to the bathroom.
All right. A little scary, but it sounds like it's a very practical
Yeah,
solution.
Duluth, maybe we'll
Yeah.
get them as a sponsor
Yeah.
because
They're-
they make a fine product.
Okay. Perfect.
You know, and you could wear the same pair for
Yeah.
weeks on end. Not that
Yeah.
I would do that,
Yep.
but that's how well they're built. So, any other things to throw
Yeah,
in
we
there?
have a lot.
Get away
Let's see.
from
We
the
still have a
underwear?
minute or two, right?
Yeah. We're talking about Northeastern.
Yeah.
your
So
job?
I'm now volunteering at Northeastern. I work
Yeah.
with the career services. I help students with their job searching.
Because you are retired, the audience knows you're basically retired. This is
I'm
something
basically
you're doing.
retired, so I do it,
What
on
are
the
they
side.
paying you again?
It's volunteer.
Okay.
You know what
Have
volunteers
them
make?
double it. Yeah.
I actually get a lot of benefit. I'm not sure what it is
Volunteering's
exactly.
great.
Yeah. So basically, so I give these workshops, and the students come in, and they call me professor.
They really do.
And some of them call me professor every other sentence. But professor, what about this? But professor, and I'm thinking, this is really worth it because
Just to be called professor.
I know it's
Your
pretty,
whole life,
it's
you've
pretty
always
cool.
wanted to be
I've-
called professor.
Yeah. So I'm not a professor, obviously, but
Yeah.
I play one on TV.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
They think you're a professor. Yeah,
Yeah.
the kids at the high school I
Yeah,
work
every
at.
high school. What happens?
They,
how do they call?
well,
What do
they call me
you?
a lot of things, but I forget.
Yeah.
It's just the family hour or not.
This
So
is no. It's actually after dark.
they call me Mr. C because
Yeah.
my last name is Castagnola. Same last name as our.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see in a few minutes.
Yeah. Yes.
A guest coming on board. What a coincidence
Mm-hmm.
there. But they call me Mr. C. The other thing they call me is Popeye Doyle, because some of
Because?
our audience might know that Gene Hackman convincingly played a real life character called Popeye Doyle in the great film The French Connection. You've
Yes.
seen it yet or not?
Well, it came out in 1972, so
Well, you were about
I did
40
catch
then,
a
so-
glimpse.
yeah.
Yeah.
But great film. Anyway, he plays this tough, like narc type cop, and so when somebody gets busted
Yeah.
for vaping per se, I'll walk in and say Popeye's in the house, and so now
Yeah.
I'm known as Popeye.
Right. And do
Yeah.
you have to throw your weight around a little bit?
Yeah, but I
I
lost
guess you're
30
probably not
pounds.
allowed
It's kind of
to.
difficult.
That's good for you.
Yeah, I can throw the weight
You look
around as long as
fantastic.
nobody's looking. Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
Please.
So I think it's time to, what do you think?
yeah,
Bring
let's
on our guest.
discuss bringing on the guest.
Yeah, because really, that's why we're here today.
We
right?
are, and plus the free coffee and parking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we should introduce our fantastic guest, and let's get right to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest is a living legend in the making. One of the original founders of the classic rock band The Leftovers. For over 15 years, Ben Castagnola has been jamming like a rock and roll wizard, but his rise to stardom took on an unexpected turn during the pandemic, when his musician buddy ditched a fully paid studio rental space in Alston for warmer pastures and forgot to lock the door. So Ben saw his chance. Like the musical Robin Hood of Alston, he swung open that unlocked door, rallied his bandmates, and started creating their own electrifying sound, and he hasn't looked back since. Drawing inspiration from icons like the Grateful Dead, Phish, and Neil Young, Ben's performances are known for their raw energy. In fact, he's been so amped up there have been 2 confirmed incidents where he nearly broke the sound barrier. But don't worry, tonight he's going to take it down a notch, and he's going to deliver a pure, raw acoustic set that's sure to hit you right in the soul.
A people in show business.
And also, for a fun fact, Ben is also the nephew of our co-host here, Raymond.
That's me.
Which means talent clearly skips generations.
Damn right.
This will only be his second live solo show, so you definitely don't want to miss this one-of-a-kind performance. Please give it up for the incomparable, the unstoppable, the musical marvel, Ben Castagnola.
All right, everybody.
All right.
All right, hey, thanks for having me, you
Hey,
guys. Great audience, too.
Wow.
This is amazing.
You know,
You guys
Yeah,
made everyone want to be
they.
here.
It's all word of mouth too.
That's really something.
Am I right, guys? Yeah. All right.
Thanks for having me. The first song I'll play here is a song called Awry Sunside, and little history behind it. Longtime friend of mine, longtime musical collaborator. We were staying in a cabin on an island up in Canada, and on the wall was a picture of a bison. And we were just trying to come up with ideas, and so we were like, a bison's hide. When you break that down, you got Awry Sunside, a bison's hide, right?
Wow.
So,
Very good.
so we ran with that, and we ended up writing a song about a cowboy. So this is the legend of Awry Sunside.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're good. By Sunside was a cowboy on a long lost trail. He had a hefty price on his head and the sheriff on his tail. And I said, hey, well, Abba and his horse headed for the lake. Little did he know that it would be his greatest mistake. The sheriff then went up to him and he tried to take him down. Well, Abba then jumped in the lake and he made that splashing sound. And I said, hey, it's the legend of old Abba, the greatest cowboy who ever did a ride through the Rockies and Central Plains. Out of prison, he's broken out of chains. The sheriff pulled out his rifle and he started to scan around. Well, Abba tried to stay underwater, but then he nearly drowned. Came up for air and the sheriff was there and he pulled that trigger down. The sheriff was quick but Abba was slick and he picked up a stick and he swung at his head and the sheriff was dead and he ran away and he hasn't been seen until this day. It's the legend of old Abba, the greatest cowboy who ever did ride through the Rockies and Central Plains. Broken out of prison, he's broken out of chains. Ooh, legend of Bad by Sunside.
Great.
Very nice.
So thank you. This is cool doing it acoustic. Very different. Like you said, Larry, we've only done acoustic set once before.
That's right.
We played out in Foxborough last November for our good friend Matt McKenzie, who plays in a bluegrass band.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it later, but he kind of helped give us our start with live shows, which is awesome.
Cool.
So he hit us up last November. He's like, want you guys to play, but want it to be acoustic. And we're like, all right, we can do that. So
Wow.
we got up there and stripped everything down. But it's a little different.
Awesome.
Nice, doing great.
Thank you. This next song here is the first song I ever wrote. This one actually goes back to middle school. I wrote it with same buddy of mine, actually. His name's Adam Rochelle, and he's doing some cool stuff out in L.A. But this is the first song. It's called Imagination Highway, and it's kind of cool. It's got some like an instrumental part in it. So it goes like this.
Oh.
Woke up one morning and the air was dry. Went outside to the sunny sky. I went to the ocean and the sea was green. I looked in the water, saw a submarine. I went to the park cause the city was loud. I lied in the grass and I thought aloud. If the world stood still, if only for a day, I could lose my mind on Imagination Highway. You can dance, you can live your life in a trance. You can live upon water, you can live upon air. Go live your life like you don't ever care. The ghost of your past will follow you around. You can try to run, but you'll always be found. The world stood still, falling for a day. I could lose my mind on Imagination Highway. If the world stood still, falling for a day, I could lose my mind on Imagination Highway. If only for a day, 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 yeah, if only for a day, if only for a day, yeah, if only for a day. Thank you very much. Imagination Highway.
Beautiful.
Very first song I ever wrote. And it's been,
The audience loves that.
cool to bring that to the band and
Wow.
bring it to life. So very cool. Let's see. I got one more here. I'll
Nice.
do one last song. It's called Cabin Fever. Wrote it a while ago. Very poignant for the COVID time. So it was kind of fun playing it, you know. And this is one of the songs that's kind of like a jam vehicle for us. And when we get to the solo section, we kind of take it off and we'll jam for 10 minutes. But we'll keep it a little tight.
All right.
They run a tight production office here, so you know.
In fact, just as an aside, Larry's one of the few people that gets cabin fever during the summer. So
It's amazing. It's
Incredible.
crazy.
Yeah, you're kind of shut in.
All right, so Cabin Fever. I've got cabin fever running through my veins. If it keeps on flowing like this, I don't think I'll stay sane. I've got cabin fever rushing through my soul. Well, I feel like a gopher man trapped in my own hole. There's no way to escape it, it's closing all around. Well, I've gotta find a way to get out of this ground. So I said, all alone in the back of the woods, you know I'd get away if I could. We got trees but no breeze, and my knees quake with ease. And the sea, won't you please take me away? We got trees but no breeze, and my knees quake with ease. And the sea, won't you please take me away? Got trees but no breeze, and my knees quake with ease. And the sea, won't you please take me away? We got trees but no breeze, and my knees quake with ease. And the sea, won't you please take me away? Those are all the songs I know, so we'll wrap it up here and come join you guys on that couch.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh.
Is he coming over? Right, so,
All right, so what do you think? Should we bring him
should we bring
on?
him over? You
I
know,
don't know,
because
'cause-
we only let certain stars at a certain level
Yeah,
come and sit on the couch.
yeah, you did a great performance.
He was great.
You
I will say
because how many people? We only had like 1 or 2 people ever sit in the.
that's true,
the
but
group
you have to
like
admit the performance was flawless.
It was
right?
pretty flawless.
I mean, the guitaring and singing at the same time.
no, it's like you trying to walk and chew gum. Can't be done.
It can't really
Well,
can't,
it can be
but
done,
he
but
did
it
do
takes
it.
a lot
He
of
did
practice.
it. So I
All
say
right,
yes.
let's bring him
I
on.
say
All
yes. All right, so yes.
Ben Castagnola, Ben, come over to the
All
couch.
right, Brad.
All right, great
thank you.
job,
All
great
right.
job.
Oh, thank
Really
you
good.
for coming over
Thank
to
you
the
for having me.
couch.
Thanks for having me on
Yep.
the couch. Yeah,
Come on, that
Right.
is the couch.
This is an honor.
You know, we
This is where it
cleaned
all
it.
happened, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Well, Larry spent 2 hours cleaning the couch
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Looks
with a
great.
Q-tip actually and an alcohol swab. So
Nice.
Yeah, alcohol swabs. Well, I used one of
Just a
your
little spot,
lavender.
but,
Yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do?
Is it leather?
I think it's pleather.
Oh, leather's all right.
Yeah,
it's
not
nice.
too bad. Yeah, so Ben, it was a fantastic show.
Thank you.
Great
loved
set. Thank you.
Loved it. I felt like I was in a stadium, yet it was just the three of us.
That's
Yeah,
the
I think
magic.
you-
Plus the studio
Yeah, I
audience.
think you motivated Larry to, since this is sort of a solo gig for you,
Yeah.
I think now Larry's going to get full of himself and try to go solo. And
I
break
know.
away
You got to
from
watch out.
I know.
Update the contracts. You
Please.
can't let him.
Yeah, give me
Yeah.
the prenup. I'll sign it. All right? Please, Larry.
I have
You want to
been-
go off on your own? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know, I've been threatening for quite some time, but when push comes to shove,
Please. All right. You're thinking do it alone, do it alone. What happened to Martin and Lewis?
Yeah, he'll come
All right,
crawling
one of them
back.
became very famous.
well, they
but-
both did actually.
All right, relax. All right, let's have a few questions. We're going to hammer out.
Great.
Our cronies wrote up some nice questions. My first question is,
I
what's
thought they were flunkies.
they're flunkies and
All right.
cronies.
All right, go ahead.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, when you always say that you're desperate and what, and confident at the same time or something. It's like an
Oh,
oxymoron.
okay. Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
contagious energy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So anyway, what's the story behind the band name, Ben? And like, was it an easy decision? Did you have heated debates?
You know, it was actually a pretty easy decision. We
The
were
leftovers, by the way. Tell everybody.
Well, I know,
yeah,
but he's
well,
going to tell us the
okay.
story.
That's right,
I want
we
to
are-
leave it a secret. The leftovers.
We are. I'm the guitarist and one of the singers in the Leftovers, and you know, it came to the discussion of coming up with a name. All of a sudden, we realized it's like, well, hey, we have a few original songs. You got to put a name to it, and we were just kind of throwing ideas out. And they're gonna kill me for this. It was either our guy Alex or Miles that had the idea for the Leftovers. I think it was Alex, and he can quote me on that. But he threw the Leftovers out there. And we're like, oh, that's good because it's random enough, and you know, I like band names that have like a the something. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
And the Leftovers are just random enough to stick. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have a negative connotation with it, but I always say Leftovers better the next day because you know you get your leftovers, put them in they're
That's
always
true.
better. So
That's true.
Whatever
Yeah,
that
when-
means, but that's all right. We like using that as a slogan.
Yeah, when the music critics do a review, they can do
That's
all
right.
kinds of things.
You
with
sleep
playing
on it.
names.
You know, you go home
Yeah.
after the show. You're like, was actually a pretty damn good show.
Yeah.
You know, so
leftovers, good, rewarmed, or whatever.
That's
Or
right.
That could be the live album.
You don't have
Rewarmed.
to
I was
cook- you
thinking
don't have to cook that
leftovers
night.
for an album. I was thinking leftovers. It's what's for dinner. I thought could
Yeah,
be
that-
good.
that's
You know,
perfect,
I
too.
like that.
Yeah.
So
How come you didn't think of that? All right.
Well, if you gave me a chance, I probably could have come up with it eventually.
You moron.
All right, so Ben, who are your biggest musical influences, and how do they shape your sound?
Oh man, everyone's sick of me saying it, but I'm a huge Phish fan.
Yeah.
I saw my 100th show this summer. 'Cause
Wow.
It's just like
Oh,
That's
that's
big.
right.
it
Remember
was
we
a
talked
big
about
deal
that.
this summer.
Where
yeah,
was it?
It was down in Dover, Delaware, of all
Wow,
places.
so you
but,
went on a
know.
road trip just to see them?
Went on a road
yeah?
trip. It was they threw a 4-day festival, camped with a bunch of friends. We had like a whole caravan
Oh
of
my
cars. It was a
God.
ton of
Wow.
fun. It was awesome. My
Yeah.
first show, I was in middle school in 2009 at Fenway, and it was awesome. I was just my friend who I mentioned, my buddy Adam, and my old middle school math teacher, shout out Mr. Panola, introduced me to the band. And at the time, it was just so weird. And as an 8th grader or 7th grader, you love things that are random and weird, and I gravitated towards
Yeah.
it. And then you break it down, you're like, oh, like these guys are doing something actually really interesting. There's some really interesting guitar stuff going on. And then wait, all of a sudden you're telling me they have a version of a song that's 25 minutes. That's like all improvised. So I was hooked.
Yeah.
And it encouraged me to pick up the guitar. I was playing trumpet at the time. I was like, well, I can't play Phish on the trumpet. I got to
Yeah.
play it on guitar. So the rest is history, as
Wow.
they say.
Wow. It's like you were influenced by the Ray kind of singers, remember?
Well, I thought it was more Louis Armstrong, but
All right,
yeah,
of course.
if that helps you.
It's close. But yeah, love Phish, love improvised
Yeah, yeah.
music.
But 100 shows, my God.
Man,
yeah.
it's crazy.
That's incredible. Think about the money, too, tied into that. But
Wow.
Try not to, but
yeah.
Cool.
It's worth it, though.
it is. It's a ton of
You
fun.
know? Man, okay. What about your songwriting process, Ben? Do you collaborate as a group? Does one or two people take over the writing? Who takes the lead?
Yeah, you know, it really varies. Sometimes one of us will come to the band practice with a kind of half-baked idea of a song where it's like, all right, it's got lyrics, it's got a chord progression. What can we add to it? Whether it needs an extra verse or something. Sometimes people will come with just like, I've got this riff, and we'll build off it. It always changes. But I will say earlier on in the formation of the band, it kind of came together quickly because people would come with fully fledged songs. And the songs I played, I had actually written before the Leftovers, so I'm happy to have the Leftovers to play them with.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped fill some space. But I remember when we first started, our buddy Miles, who plays drums, keys, and guitar for us, we do some musical chairs during our live shows. He came to us with a song called Crowd Pleaser. He and Evan helped write a song, Backyard Blues. So like pretty quickly we were just like churning out songs.
Nice.
And a lot of them came from Miles, Alex, and Evan. I got to give them some props. They came very early on with a lot of good
shout
ideas.
out.
That was awesome.
For the dudes who ain't here tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else we got,
So,
Junior?
well, now I'm going to ask a behind-the-scenes
Wow.
story question.
All right.
What's the wildest thing that's happened to you on tour?
Oh man, giving us a lot of credit saying we're going on tour,
Yeah, well.
but I will say the farthest we've traveled for a show is up in New Hampshire. We played at a ski resort off season. It was in September, I think, of last year.
Wow.
But it was different for us because it was freezing out and it was dark out. So you hard to play and hard to see what you're playing.
Yeah.
But we pulled it off and that was cool. And so it's not really crazy, but it was a cool experience,
Yeah.
and it was fun hanging out with everyone at the lodge
yeah.
after. They were having like a family weekend where people camped at the base of the mountain, had a bunch of activities going on, and we were there pretty late into the night just having a fun time. So that was cool.
awesome.
That was a unique show experience.
Yeah,
for
it sounds
sure.
like a good experience. It's like confidence building and stuff to be able to get through it like that. 'Cause,
It was
yeah.
cool. Hey, we sounded great. We pulled it off,
Yeah,
and
'cause-
it was a cool challenge for us too, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. Like we complain about the lights here. That's about it, right? As far as the
I would have
challenge.
killed to have these lights at that
It's,
show.
know,
you
we
know,
can't
it
see
is hot
anything.
under these lights.
Damn right it is.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm quite comfortable. Do you have any like pre-show rituals, superstitions, anything you do as a band?
My bandmates will crack up because my pre-show ritual is like, leave me alone. I'm gonna like sit and just focus on my breathing for a little bit. I get
all
really,
right.
get really bad stage fright
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Our very first show,
Yeah.
we were opening for our friend Matt McKenzie at the Middle East, just around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a sold-out show. It was like 250, 300 people
Wow.
for our first live show. Other than our first live show was for our buddy's July 4th party in his backyard. It had like 30 people. I was nervous then too. My bandmates will attest to that. But before the Middle East show, I was like sitting behind the stage. I was just like,
oh, and everyone's like, you all right? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just nervous.
Yeah. That's good.
But it's gone easier as we've gone on. I think we've played something like 15 or 16 shows now, which is really exciting.
Cool.
Cool.
So it gets easier. And
It's good. Everybody's got their own style. Like Larry does what? You meditate for
Well, I
like
do
2 hours?
meditation every morning.
it's good.
And I'd like to say I'm actually, when I'm nervous before a show or whatever, I like to say it means I'm alive. It makes me feel like I'm really living.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I
It's
tell
a real
myself that, and I
experience.
say that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always good to be alive because the alternative, can be
It's
good or
not
bad.
as great.
So,
Yeah.
No, no.
Meditation's great. I do
Certainly
occasionally meditate, and it really does help.
Don't you
Can
also
help,
do
yeah.
cold plunges?
I do, but
Yeah.
I do them during the summer, because who wants to do it during the winter?
No, it's horrible.
It's like a good 70 degrees, but
Alright.
it's not
I
that
hear
easy.
they can be quite invigorating.
Oh, they're invigorating.
Okay.
Whose turn? Like,
I
what
think
else
it's
we
my
got
turn.
here? Go ahead.
Okay.
What else?
What's
they
the
come up with?
strangest or funniest fan encounter you've ever had?
Oh man. Again, you're giving us too much credit, like we got fans, but we do. I gotta
Right,
say,
audience, you're fans, right?
we got a lot of fans here, which is great. And honestly, we have some people that have seen almost every leftover show. I think
Really?
there's one of our friends that has only missed one.
You
or
definitely have
something.
groupies. I was at one of your shows. We were both at one of your shows.
Oh, it's right,
And there were a
Somerville.
lot of,
Yeah, that's right.
young ladies that were really
They-
kind of clawing at you guys.
They love us. I mean, we got to get security, but we haven't
Yes.
made it that big yet.
Yeah, and remember Larry did the intro to, was it? Remember?
That's right. At the Somerville, at Aeronaut in
was
Somerville,
fantastic.
Larry came out and we improvised an intro. We did the Blues Brothers
Blues
theme,
Brothers.
and
What was
he
the
came
thing
out.
called?
It was, Cab
dun,
Calloway
yeah.
that did it.
Oh yeah,
It was, I forget exactly, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
but
can't
it was
remember.
great.
But it was cool. But the best, not really funny, but I remember after our first or second live show ever, I walk off stage. I was like, oh my God, adrenaline dump. A friend of mine came up to me with a beer in hand. He was like, here, man, you deserve this. And in that moment, I felt like an actual rock star. I was like,
Wow.
someone just got me a
Awesome.
beer. That's
Wow,
amazing.
that's pretty awesome.
So yeah, that was good.
It was pretty good. If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh man. The easy answer is Trey from Phish, but we can't
Yeah.
keep talking about Phish because they're going to come
That's
for
all
you
right, 'cause
guys.
you know.
And, they're going to ask you to pay
don't
up.
wanna jinx
and,
it, yeah.
Budget's tight.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting question. I would love to, this is an out there answer. Would love to collaborate with Elvis, the King.
Wow.
He was my first intro to rock and roll as
Wow.
a kid, and I was dancing in my room singing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it'd be cool to write a song and rock with Elvis.
Yeah, that'd be a great collab.
How
You
about
know?
Chuck Berry? Do you like Chuck Berry?
Chuck Berry's great. That would be another one. He would
Yeah.
actually fit in well with the Leftovers.
I think he would.
We do
Yeah.
we do a lot of blues
Yeah.
songs in
Yeah.
the band, and I think that would be really cool.
He's
to
got
have.
some
Yeah.
great music. He was the first inductee to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Was he really?
Was he?
Yeah, Chuck Berry.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Makes sense. It's
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys will get there, but you have to have your first album. Then 25 years later,
I know.
you get
Yeah.
to it, so it takes.
We might
takes
have to
a
break
while.
up once or twice.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
gotta have a good story.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, you ready for this one? We're going to take you in a little bit of a different direction.
Let's see.
I hear you have a horror story
Oh,
that happened a few days before Halloween, not that long ago.
so scary, and I'll try and keep it short for the sake of time, but it's a good story. I'll preface it by saying we went to the same spot 5 years ago and had the living daylight scared out of us. It's an abandoned mental hospital campus. I don't want to say where because they have no trespassing signs. I don't want to catch a charge.
Yeah. But you're familiar with the
Is
setting.
it
of course.
McLean Hospital?
Ah,
Don't
I
answer.
get careful,
Nice,
Larry.
okay.
I can't get
the
those
hospital
details.
no longer is in
It's
operation.
defunct. It's
Okay.
all abandoned.
Defunct. You know
All
what
right.
that means?
All abandoned.
It's defunct.
All right.
They're the ones
Defunct,
defuncting
Larry.
it.
All right.
Defunct.
So
You
we're
just like saying
walking.
defunct.
We're walking around, and we get to this one part. There's a chapel on the property, and we're looking in. You can kind of see in. We're thoroughly spooked. We hear like a banging from inside, so we start to kind of get out of there.
Wow.
And we hear a shout, and so we run. And Alex was the last person in the group to run. He said he saw someone come out of the chapel and be like, "Where are you guys going?" We
Wow.
just didn't wait around.
Yeah.
We just ran out of there.
Yeah.
It was the scariest moment of our collective lives.
Wow.
It like gave us meaning in life almost. It was that scary. So this year it kind of came up. Life's been a little boring since COVID. We need to shake things up a little bit. So they suggested we go back, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down. Let's go back."
Yeah.
And we know what to expect. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be as scared.
Yeah.
We get in there, and instantly I'm as scared as I was
Yeah,
5
yeah.
years.
Of course.
And like instantly, the 5 years ago we went in the buildings. This time we're like, we're not going in the buildings.
Yeah.
Like sketchy, creepy. So we're
It
walking
was
around.
after dark, yes?
Oh, it was at dusk. So we
dusk.
went. We
That's
ditched
the
work
worst
a little
time.
early, around 3 or 4. So it's still dusk.
Yeah.
But we're in there so long that the sun. By the time we left, the sun had set.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
very scary. And it was a game of like inching forwards and backwards. We'd go a little farther in there and we'd get scared and we're like, all right, let's head back. And then I'm like, oh, we're already here. Let's keep going. And eventually it became, let's go to the chapel. Let's go to the church where we got scared last time. Yeah. Nothing happened, but it was scary. And so we're like, all right, we're sufficiently spooked. Let's head out of here. So we're walking out. Important to note, there's one other kid doing this that we saw walk in kind of with us, a little bit behind us. So we know there's one other person in here. He kept scaring us. Like we would see him like several meters down. And we would just kind of acknowledge each other. So it's like, all good. He's exploring. Yeah. But we're starting to leave. We're walking out and it's dark now. And we hear someone sprinting. Like, it's leaves everywhere. You hear someone sprinting. And we're like, oh my God. And so we look around. We see our kid sprinting. The kid that was in there, he's sprinting out of there. I'm like, oh, he saw something. And so then we start running. Yeah. And I'm trying to catch up to him. We just got to get to the edge of it and get to the road. Yeah. And I'm running up behind him like, yo, did you get scared? Like, what happened? And he's not answering me. And I'm like, this poor kid. I finally catch up to him like, what happened? Like, you get scared? And he goes, I was in the building and I looked down a hallway. And at the end of the hallway, I just see someone like peek out over a corner. And I booked it. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, that pretty much happened to us 5 years ago. And we're so happy it happened to you because it's so scary. Glad it didn't happen to us this time because we would have been extra scared. But glad you had that experience. And also thank you for scaring us in the process. So it was very intense.
That's wild.
We caught our breath and that was that. But we were like, that was just as scary as it was 5 years ago when we went.
It could have been the same guy or it could have been one of his cousins.
Could have been his cousins. It's the family has grown. The abandoned, facility family has probably grown.
Now, especially with the real estate prices. A lot of families are moving into.
There are some nice buildings in there. I was like, if any of them are still abandoned and aren't claimed, I might. Rent's going up.
People like Institution Green as a color.
It's nice. It is. It's a good. It's soothing. I think it's designed to calm you down a little bit.
Right. Well, that is just freaky.
That is.
It was terrifying. I'm getting worked up talking about it.
I'm
calm down.
probably have nightmares tonight.
Yeah, please.
In fact,
he doesn't watch horror movies after 2 PM.
Well, my household, I say we cannot have any disturbing conversations.
He's right.
After dinner.
Yeah.
Because I can't handle it.
Because you're full too. You don't want to upset the stomach either. It's too much.
Yeah, the kid can get a little fragile. He's been through a lot. He gets up early. He's had a long day. The last thing he wants to do is be scared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All
right, but before we wrap up, Ray, I hear you also have a horror story to share.
Well, the only thing the only thing I have close to a horror story was it was like Halloween night. I think about 20 years ago. I was with my ex-girlfriend at my time at the time Felicity. Things are getting kind of romantic. I'm sitting on my couch. We're watching some Friday the 13th movie or whatever. And all of a sudden I look up and her husband had materialized out of nowhere.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
it's really a worst nightmare situation.
It was freaky. Scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
I never want to go through that again.
You got out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was. What about you? What's your big horror story?
Well, I just celebrated my 15th wedding anniversary.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, that's.
And they said it wouldn't last more than a year.
That's frightening.
That really is, because the 15th isn't that like a special gift thing, like diamonds? I think it's a car.
Yeah, that's right. It's
or
like
something, a new car or
something super expensive.
Mary's hoping it's the pencil.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
So put maybe $1 into it.
Whatever it takes.
Exactly.
That's gold, Junior.
All right. Well, I think that's our show. Yes.
That's basically a show. We're gonna do a quiz or no?
Oh, we forgot the quiz.
Yeah, let's do.
Do we still have 5 minutes?
Well,
how are we doing on time?
We doing on time because we do have a quiz. We want to throw a couple things.
Yeah,
out.
hit me. Let's see.
How about, let me do the sponsor.
There's only 2 questions.
Shall I do a sponsor?
I think we should do the quiz first.
Do the quiz.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Very quick. 2 questions, but right in your wheelhouse.
Great.
Yeah.
You want to do the first one or the second one?
Let's see. What do we have?
I'd like to do the second one.
Okay, I'll do the first one. Okay. The Grateful Dead originally went by a different name before adopting their iconic moniker. What was their original band name? Now, I could give you the choices, or do you know?
Yeah, you can give the
Let me see if I just know. Is it the Warlocks?
Bang!
Yeah,
yes.
Boom.
Wow.
All right, there we go.
Bang again. Good. The choices were going to be Warlocks, Acid Testers, Psychedelic Cowboys, Sunshine Daydreamers. So those were
those are good. Those are good options. We might actually steal that. Our bassist Dave is a huge Deadhead, and I'm sure he's watching this intently, being like, "Don't mess this up."
But did the Warlocks actually stick for a little while, or no? They just bantered it around.
I don't think so. I don't think it. I just don't think it stuck around.
Okay, let's get to quiz 2.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna love this one. Phish is famous for their lengthy improvisations, as you told us. But which song holds the record for their longest single performance?
It's Runaway Jim.
That is correct.
Yeah, almost an hour long.
That is 100%
Wow.
correct.
Like
Clocking in
a
at
57 minutes.
59 minutes.
59.
And when did it happen and where did it happen?
Oh, well, it happened in Massachusetts
Yes,
at the Worcester
yes,
Centrum
yes.
and I think 1997.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Okay.
Bravissimo.
Thank you.
Again, how about that audience?
Wow.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
That was
100
a
shows.
four-parter.
You learn some stuff.
That's
so
unbelievable.
all right.
You are, 100 shows, yeah.
you got to know
Please,
something.
every day I've done like how many, 30 shows or something
Yeah.
total,
Amazing.
and we don't know anything.
What do we know?
So
Okay.
it's time for our sponsor. I promise our sponsors I'd get
Yeah.
them in
Okay.
because they are supplying everything for all you guys out there.
Yeah.
The
Thank
delicious
you. Yeah.
beverages.
Catering's been great, too.
Yeah.
All those corned beef sandwiches that we had at the
Please,
beginning.
believe me, they don't do corned beef. You know they don't do. He's joking, folks. They're going to
All
kill
right,
us.
come on, the red,
All
light's,
right,
the red light's flashing. Hurry
Main
up.
Squeeze Juice Bar, folks. Main Squeeze Juice Bar is our sponsor. Boys and girls, are you feeling sluggish, much like Larry, trying to go to bed after 9 p.m.? Perhaps you're feeling like a sloth stuck in traffic. Well, stop what you're doing or not doing because it's time to get juiced. Climb into a pressed goodness from the juiciest fruits and vegetables from here to Portland, Maine, or hell, to Portland, Oregon, for that matter. You won't find any added sugars or sticky syrups at Main Squeeze Juice. And if you do want to go in there, if you order anything like that, those Main Squeeze guys, they're vegans. They'll come out. They're vicious. They're militant vegans. They'll escort you out. They only want you to have the freshest, most natural, fresh squeeze juices. And Larry and Ray, we actually, I'll tell you this, they have a juice in our name up there on
Yeah.
the board.
I don't want to be
Guess what's
associated
in
with
it?
juice.
You
quite
got to be.
frankly.
But it's fruits. It's squeezed
Yeah,
fruits.
but it has unnaturally high sugar.
No, they don't do any added sugars. It's
But
let me
when
tell you what's in
but
the
when you
Larry and
remove
Ray.
the pulp
Yeah.
and you're left with only the juice, therein lay the sugar.
You've gone quite mad. The Larry and Ray, then I'll have it. The Larry and Ray smoothie is a delicious blend of bananas, mixed nuts, and coconut milk. That's
All
not
right.
bad.
Coconuts is 5 grams of sugar per serving.
All right, but it's very healthy,
It's
and
a
it's
good
better
kind of
than having a
sugar.
Milky Way. All
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
I'll tell you that. So treat your body like the rock star it is and get juice.
Wow.
All right,
Good
Main
choice of
Squeeze
words.
Juice
Rock
Bar
star.
has a location in Brookline, where Larry lives,
That's
and
right.
downtown Cambridge.
Yeah, where you
So
live.
tell them where I live. So tell them that Larry and Ray sent
Yeah.
you.
That's right.
And I hope you're all enjoying
Yes.
your juice boxes.
That's right. Everyone in the audience
Don't
has
listen to
one.
Larry. Yeah,
Yeah.
you all have an audience. You get a juice. You get a juice. You get a
Yeah.
juice. You.
And speaking of rock stars, we would love to thank once again Ben Castagnola for
Thank you very
joining
much.
us on the show
This is a
tonight.
blast.
We want to thank the spectacular CCTV production team,
Great
Thank you,
job,
guys.
you guys.
Right.
All right, let's give them a hand.
Led-
Jeff-
led by
Pros,
Kevin
CCTV.
Whitmore and this fantastic crew.
Yep, there they are.
Yep. So
Maybe
thank
get a
you
shot
all.
of each other. Can
Yeah.
you get a shot of each other? No.
Let's get a shot of the control room. Can you? Can we
Yeah,
do that?
let's take a look here because we want to give you guys some props.
Yeah.
And
Kevin, give them a wave. And yes.
wave.
Yeah.
Great job, everybody. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us. We'll
Yep.
be back on the airwaves soon.
Yeah.
And do I hear our outro music playing, Junior?
I think we do. All
All right.
right. Beautiful. All right. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you all.
Thank you very
And
much.
Good night.
Yeah.